is in studio with us here today. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Now, thank you for taking the time to be here with us today. Lots of questions around doing business in Nairobi, especially from the perspective of fast technology. People have been used to doing business in the traditional sense, where you'll have to go to places to fill out forms and that sort of thing. But a lot has changed. And the county government has actually put in place lots of technology to be able to facilitate business and make it easier for people to get things like licenses, be able to do their businesses in a much better environment. Please enlighten us on some of these initiatives.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Thank you for having me here. One of the things that Governor Kidero and Deputy Governor Mweke did when they first came in was to talk to the business people. And the first thing they said is that, dealing with the city council at the time was very difficult because they didn't know exactly what licenses they required. And every time they thought that they had gotten a license, then they are told that there's another one that would need to come in. And one of the things he promised was to be able to make that process very simple. So we embarked almost immediately on introducing and using ICT to make it easier for us to be able to actually issue licenses and even collect our payments. The first step we did, obviously, was to start off with the electronic payment system, EGG Pay, through which citizens were able to, come in. They don't even need to come into the county. We're able to go online and get their licenses. So we did that, and we completed that successfully, actually, in 2014. That was the year after we came in. And then this year, actually last year, in 2016, November, we launched what we are calling the Unified Business Permit. Because the complaints that still came about was, I get my single business permit from City Hall Annex, and then I have to go to City Hall to get my the license for food hygiene or for the health certificate. Then I have to go across to Tom Mboya Street to get your fire certificate, and then again you come back and get your advertising signage certificate. So what we did is we looked at all those certificates, and because now we had an electronic platform, we were able to pool them all together. So what we did is we just pooled them such that when you go in, your business ID becomes your single identifying number, and then it pools based on your business ID the licenses that you require for that business.
And just to stop you right there, because for a lot of people, especially traders, they mistakenly or otherwise keep insisting that the cost of doing business has gone up. While the converse is actually true. All these costs have just been brought under one roof. A lot of people in the past used to dodge paying things like fire, the health certificates, and that sort of thing. What has this done for revenues at the county level?
What it has done, actually, it's been able to help us collect more, so that then we are also a little bit more efficient in terms of the services that we're able to offer the citizens. And I'd like to repeat again, and you've said it right, we have not increased any of our rates. In fact, in some instances, we have reduced. And one of the things that, yes, you've also said it correctly, is that in the past, people used to pay for their single business permit and then forget all other permits. And then what would happen is when our inspectors come in to take a look at what you have and what you've licensed for within your outlet, that was when they would run in to come and get the right license for their business. So what we're doing now is just making it very easy. You do it in one shot. It also reduces the amount of time you have to interact with us, because when you go online, everything is there. You fill in all your details, especially for new businesses, filling in all the details, putting it in there, and being able to get the license. Fine, you might get what we call a provisional license, but what that allows us to do is to come and then check to see whether what you've actually licensed is correct. So what we've done is actually put licensing in the hands of the trader, of the consumer, of the business person, which wasn't done before. And the brilliant thing about it is, in the past, it used to take you 2 months to get your single business permit. Now, as fast as your internet connection, you'll be able to get your 5-6 licenses all at once.
Moving on from that, the elephant in the room has always been the issue of hawkers. The fact that successive county and city governments have struggled with this issue in various ways. And also the perspective that, depending on where you sit, for some, this is a livelihood. For some, this is a nuisance. For others, this is something which is interrupting the usual way of doing business. Why is the middle ground? Because these people do have to make a living in some way. They are a part of this society. But then we also have the other people who are established institutions, have been doing businesses in some areas for a very long time. We have pedestrians who sometimes say they're inconvenienced by these people hawkers putting their wares on the ground and blocking them. Where is the middle ground in all this? What do we need to do going forward to ensure that we don't have to keep bringing up the issue of hawkers and small traders all the time?
One of the things that I'd like to put forward is the fact that when you're faced with urbanization and rapid urbanization like we're faced with in Nairobi, whereby we still have the rural to urban migration, then these issues are bound to come up. In the previous dispensation, what we did was license, and then obviously there would be what everybody used to refer to as running battles with the county inspectorate. But now what we're trying to do is what we are calling trade development. We're trying to build new markets. We're trying to expand the number of trading spaces that we have so that people actually get into proper designated areas to be able to trade. With the influx, and Nairobi being the capital city actually gets traders from the counties all around, from Machakos, from Kajiado, from Kiambu, from Murang'a. They all come into the city, do their business during the day, and then they go back, right? And therefore, the counties that they're living in are actually their bedrooms and their workspaces in Nairobi. And what we really are trying to do is to see where are the main points. We've noticed that a lot of the traders and hawkers actually congregate in the transport corridors, where the matatus are. Why? Because we as citizens, when we're going home, one of the things we want to do is to get onto my transport home and then take off, but we don't want to go. And one of the things we also realized, and we are appealing actually to Nairobians and consumers, is that go into the markets. A lot of the markets, we've realized that a lot of the traders have the markets literally as stores. Yes, they store their things there and then they come out into the street. So it has to be a give and take, both from those who are selling and those who are buying. Those who are buying need to go into the markets, right? And I know we love the convenience of stopping by the roadside and picking whatever it is, but then we also have to get into that discipline. So we're developing those markets. We have about 3 or 4 markets that we're putting up within the next 2 years. We are expanding the Uhuru market off Jogoo Road. We are looking at Karandini in Dagoretti, and then we are also looking at Mwariro, which is near Karioko area. But the one thing that is very important, and if you've noticed what we're doing, we're trying to remove out of the main CBD and taking them to the end of their journey, so that what they now do is collect whatever they want to buy at the end of their journey instead of at the beginning.
My final question to you, again, technology. We've seen, while the hawkers are on the streets, a large mushrooming of, so to say, stores on Facebook, on other social media platforms, people buying and selling. Has the county been able to tap this for revenue in one way or another? And is it a viable alternative for the small traders that we are seeing?
Actually, growth of internet has actually brought about innovations that previously were not thought about. When you ask whether the county has been able to tap into that, what we do is actually encourage that to happen. It will help us also take care of the issues that we're facing in terms of being able to give people the designated places that they can be able to trade from. So the internet then becomes that easy shopping place, where at the end of the day, business people and buyers meet and are able to buy and sell. I know in the past what did happen is many people were very cautious about using that. They still are. They're very skeptical about using their credit cards online here in Kenya, but internationally, that's the way business has been run. And what we're trying to say is this: if we can encourage even the hawkers on the street to go onto their phones, there are a lot of apps that have been set up. People who, you know, when you, even Facebook itself, even WhatsApp, you can be able to say, I have this, and people come and say, I can buy from you. Why not buy our fresh produce from there? Why not buy any of our apparel or our retail stuff from those from those areas. The only thing we'll ask them to do is
Yes.
obviously register their business, right? Because registering business also helps us know the number of people.
Yes, formalization.
And helps us formalize them and helps us give them services. The problem we now have as a county is that with the mushrooming of business, we don't quite have a finger. Now we do, but previously we didn't quite have a finger as to how many hawkers we have out there and what they're looking for. But when they do get online and they do register with us and get the licenses, which are now easy to get, then we're able to service them better.
Okay, interesting food for thought, and the future of trade in Nairobi County, going online to buy everything from vegetables to motor vehicles.
Yes.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. Anna Othoro from the Nairobi City County.
Thank you.